then we need to start in a month's time engaging with the city to start getting through permits. And we need to have booked the date, and we need to have spoken to Jungle and Zanzi, so-and-so, and Carnival, and whatever, because all those snookfish and drummers and people and kids bring something to it. So you've got to start with a very practical, which takes time and energy, and so if that is something that we value because of what it brings, that it brings an integration and an expression, a liminal space where actually the power dynamics are shifted, and you have this intercultural, new cultural expression happening through our streets, and if there's value in that, we have to realize that someone's going to be spending time and energy and money is necessary to have that happen. Mm-hmm. A concert in the park costs 50 to 60,000 rand just to have a concert in the park, and a tremendous number of workouts and relationships ongoing, and organizing and funding to make it happen before it happens, before you can try and get some money back to pay back and to whatever. So if the Big Bashes, the events, celebratory spaces of music and artistry in those larger spaces are part of building community and giving us a sense of, as you so nicely put, this multi-cultural space of us becoming more aware of who we are, because we're seeing each other in those spaces and hearing the different expressions through music and dance and celebration. If those hold value for us, we've got to recognize that there's an organizational cost and time and effort and energy that, and that has fitted in with an expression of this year-long process of saying that we're going to work along a celebratory component in order for that to happen, to get to know the parts of our body in this community, and that we build a sense of community, we get a sense of who we are. And that's the celebratory space, and that occurs with those types of events, which require, and the economic sustainability of that component has been brought into question. We started to realize, well, hang on, we need to revisit it, we need to start getting some ideas and bringing people in with some clever models. So,
just back to the non-rhetorical question. So, there's a, if you don't mind, there's a response.
Yeah, let me just short. What I'm bringing it back is that
radical.
I'm coming to this short and your question. Sure. So one of the deeper, more cooking type components of the festival is that we build and express ourselves. What do we want to do? Yes, start small and us. And one of the best examples of the how we've managed to do that came out in one of the projects some years ago called Parallel Lives, where one of our values was to integrate people of different spaces and cultures through an artistic kind of enjoyment expression, and two groups of youth were invited to engage with each other through several months of process of building and developing graphic expression of their lives. And then October was the expression of that, or the expose of that, where we invited people to come and see. So that was an amazingly creative process or project built along somebody's passion, but really engaging and integrating the value of integration amongst the community. So there was a very good project that ran for several months and then was presented in October as an expression. So there's a sense of building and creating from our values. And when you invite somebody to that, then it's along a passionate line, and it's not about the experience of it, it's doing it and really engaging, and it's something that you can invite somebody to. And those are the parts of what we would love to see happen. Now that doesn't cost a lot of money. You've got to rent a venue once a week or whatever's for the project, and you can work out costs, and it's contained within that space. And you can have an expression or an artist's tour. So there's that level of things, which is a bit more doable, less budgeted, whatever's, but doesn't have the expansive community embodied as those big parade concert in the park. And whether we can turn those into income streams better than what they are now, I don't know. We'll have to see.
So just my rabbit hole sign went up because I wanted to check in with, alright, so there's two rather obvious themes that really it says communication and vision, okay, but then what is? And again, I'm still looking for, or at least this is my experiences. I'm really keen to find, I mean, I wish there was a magical way where we could get everybody's understanding of what it is, and perhaps also understanding what even the word 50 means, put that in parentheses, and congeal it into a visual state. As we discussed yesterday. So there's a collection of different understandings of what this is. And it's not either or, again, we experience it as something of a year-long enactment of our community, of our space. So again, are there other voices here that have additional, succinct sort of suggestions, additions to how we define it? Are there a couple of, just, I guess I'm trying to ask for more voices in terms of this vision, this what is the defining. And if that's not the question, then I beg my pardon, beg your pardon. Much about the theme of communication. But if those are two themes that have read their heads, well, there's some more voices on it.
Yeah, sorry we were late. But from our own experience, I was just thinking to what you said.
Sorry, can you tell us your name?
Oh, Tess.
Tess.
We run a sort of research firm, Wales and Dolphins. Yeah. And but from that experience actually, because we moved to False Bay and we run projects in Namibia where we do a concentrated field season, right? 2 months. And then when we moved to Cape Town, we were working throughout the year. And I'm drawing parallels here between these sort of events that are going on throughout the year and the festival in October. And what we found was that working throughout the year actually doesn't work as well as working in concentrated periods, because there's more planning, there's more enthusiasm, I don't know what it is. So by all means, I really like these sort of these Saturday bashes and whatever. I can't go to them because I've got 2 small children, but I like the idea of it and I wish I could go to it, and every time I see it I want to go. So I think that that's brilliant that there's regular events happening throughout the year, but I think that there's a lot of work in having the festival as well, where everyone can sort of put that energy and at one time of the year go, okay, now I'm going to commit, now I'm going to be involved, and really sort of focus at that time.
I agree to that. I think it's too much happening. I sometimes feel bombarded with emails and I don't even have the time to read all this. So I think to focus on the big event and to have meetings like this, what is important for a once per year festival and not concert in the park every quarter of the year. I think it should be a big event, and I think it needs a lot of preparation.
Can I just ask, in conjunction with that, Tess, the focused time was 2 months, more or less, in Namibia.
Yeah.
And
it's a totally different thing, though.
Yeah, and was it like a project? Of we're going to do this research, or we're going to? Was it not like an event?
No, we do research over a concerted amount, a set amount of time, and we've gone backwards and forwards with these ideas about, okay, well maybe we should be doing stuff throughout the year, and maybe we should do set time periods, and it just from an enthusiasm point of view and a sort of don't know.
So getting people involved to help with research or be involved in research and to do the work over a shorter period of time.
Yeah, actually the productivity is in some ways greater because every time you recombine to do a smaller event, you've still got a lot of logistics, there's still a lot of time involved in, I'm presuming, Fergus, in doing these smaller events. And perhaps it loses the motivation of a bigger event. I don't know, I'm just...
okay, and so similarly, except with more of a focus on an event and the coordination of that event and preparation and marketing and structuring of it, keeping it to one time of the year is sort of what you're suggesting.
No, that when the meetings happen, must happen in short, condensed spaces instead of one long.
What I'm teasing apart here is that one can be involved in projects like graphic storytelling with different groups from different spaces in over a 2 or 3 month period and have an expression of it or an exposition
So
of it.
just based on a couple of responses which have obvious differences and also similarities, I think it goes without saying that we'll all have different ways of expressing a particular thing or our meaning of something. And it's one, at least it sparked from what we're saying right now, is one way of recognizing it is the level to which we're all involved is really up to us, and it's important to recognize that let me just quickly cover this. It's that the Muizenberg Festival is not an organization. It doesn't live here. This may be where a lot of people whose going concern ends up being what we call Muizenberg Festival often get together and do things and meet about things. But it's not a legal entity, it's not an organization, it's not a thing, it's not a building. And rather, how it's been is it's always been whoever rocks up at the circle. If the festival's a fire, it's like who's rocking up and who's doing what around the fire. That's what it is. And in some ways, for some reason, that image and that metaphor helps me to realize that the debate around the particularities are less important than the sitting at the fire, coming to the circle, and that tension of riding what is it and how do we do it, and is it even this, and is it a week or is it continuous? Some part of it's just like, well, it is whatever we're showing up and calling it to be at any given moment. And yes, that might be existential. Well, so what? But there might be some common ground, which there is. There's a common ground that one can sense in everybody's mind, particular definitions, celebration of ourselves and what we do, and creating a more prosperous, inclusive, sustainable, colourful Muizenberg, investing in our space, connecting, collaborating, and if there are any objections, throw up your hands, I'm going to far out, but there's some common ground. There's some obvious common ground. And that common ground is, if you look, comes up everywhere, but at least in my perspective, mostly in the actual actions and not in the words. But the point is that that common ground has been stated. And in order to interact with that common ground, again, inviting, not in this meeting because time moves on and these themes need to also shift so that we can get to other matters of this meet. But I'd like to invite now, as Fergus, not as Muizenberg Festival, not as anything about myself, but I'd like to invite that conversation. I'd like to invite that we have, if this was another get-together, I'd like to invite next Thursday, Saturday, the 30th, to continue this discussion where everybody in the room is sort of on the same page in the sense of we know what our purpose of the meeting is, maybe to have this debate, have this dialogue, and have this discussion in order to settle some of these questions. Not settle by this one over that one, but have a consensus, have something to come and sit around. And anyone who's willing to go deep into that question and deep into this discussion, I'm proposing the 30th, next week Thursday. If there's a different proposition, please put it forward. But basically, I'm proposing that we move on with this meeting but that these questions do get given a fuller attention and a fuller conversation, which is purposed towards answering them and coming up with different ways.
So it's just a thought on this before
Sure.
you move on as an outsider. If you want people to engage beyond the people in this meeting room here, in talking about the Muizenberg Festival, whatever that means, doesn't there need to be a fairly simple brand, fairly powerful brand that they can readily understand? So if they're at home or with their mates in the cafe or down the pub or whatever, they can talk about it in a way that they all understand. If it's left as some existential
Sure.
meaning, other people who are not in this room and who've only got a limited,
It becomes exclusive.
it becomes an exclusive thing,
Yeah.
and people don't talk about it to their mates.
Completely.
If you've got a powerful brand, then people will be talking about it with their mates down the pub.
And I guess that's why I'm suggesting that we have a collection or some way of sharing enough of our perspectives and points of views about this so that we can try to come to that common ground, which for me, I think it's quite visible. Not as visible as it probably should be, but I'd like us to get there. As an individual and a resident of Muizenberg, I'd like us to get there. And not a brand necessarily that says it's this or that, but just something that is commonly referring to what we're all here talking about in the first place. But again, I think we have invited engagement on this question and continue to do so. And yeah, if there are no objections, perhaps to move forward just on the basis of time. Thoughts?
I just want to quickly say that I think that the slogan already sort of sums it up quite well. That create,
collaborate.
Yeah.
collaborate, celebrate. Yeah. I think it's all those C words. Easy buzz.
So we had some notes for we've captured quite a lot of discussion content necessary stuff to work through.
But traffic jam.
We've got a
Muizenberg.
So we continue that. We get through some of the other things we were going to do tonight. Present some things. This space was really to start engaging these things anyway.
Although in hindsight, I think it's a great thing that it popped up before, because I know some people are leaving in case later.
Yeah.
And that's great. There were more people engaged on those questions. So makes sense.
So what we were really saying, like, do we give space to our interns to present?
Yeah, and if I might add something here, this we're referring to Tim, Vardenberg, Demi Tevlin, Ron Terras, and now Janssen, who have been with us for the last 6 months. And honestly, any discussion sits aside in comparison to the tireless hours and energy and commitment that they've made coming from a space they've never been in before. As they rocked up here like 3 weeks before October at a 7-day thing that we conveniently call a festival, and had to be thrown in the mix at a time when they weren't even sure of the English capacity. So I just want to give like a really big bloody and the context of what they're going to be presenting to us is it's their learning. Their learnings of what it takes to organize some of these things, what it takes to come together. They have then other people that have had discussions similar to these many times. These learnings are not like unfamiliar with them. So this is essentially one version of their product, their work product that they've helped to fulfill in completion of their studies here in Muizenberg.